evening, everybody. This is Vasilis Girasis for ntmarkets.com. Quite amazingly, we've reached December. It's quite amazing how time flies, but here we are nonetheless, the last 4 trading weeks of the year. And going forward, up until the end of the year, I still believe that the markets will take their cue from the US and the so-called fiscal cliff. The fiscal cliff, in short, will the US face a technical default or not? Whatever the outcome, all eyes on the US. So let's see how that plans out. Having said that, we have a number of graphs I'd like to just run through briefly this evening. I'll begin with Anglo American PLC. As we can see on the graph here, this is a counter that has been under a little bit of pressure recently. Its counterpart Billiton has been outperforming Anglo American, and we feel that there's still a lot of value in the stock. It has come under pressure, but we are seeing on the graph over here that it is forming higher lows. Fundamentally, we've had some positive news out of the company in the form of Cynthia Carroll having left Anglo American. We deem this as a positive event for the company. The shareholders obviously bought the stock up on the news. There's a lot of speculation as to who will actually come in and now drive Anglo American forward, who will take the helm of the company. There's a lot of speculation that someone like Mick Davis of Exxaro, his contract with Exxaro expires in about 6 months' time. And I think a lot of shareholders would like to see someone of his stature come forward and become CEO of Anglo American. We also have the ANC policy conference, which closes just before Christmas. And if someone like Ramaphosa does become deputy president, we feel that this could also start the revival of this counter. And from a technical point of view, we have a strategy to go long at about 238 Rand on Anglo American. We have a stop loss in place of about 234 Rand with a target price, as we can see on the graph, a couple of moving averages at around about the 255 Rand mark. That will be our first target price on the stock in the short term. The next counter I'd like to discuss is Barloworld. Barloworld did break out of a downward trend, came out with surprisingly good results. We punted this one at about 74 Rand 50, went back into the channel, unfortunately the downward channel. We were stopped out of the trade a little bit prematurely, as it did in fact continue to rally up to about 78 Rand or so, just above. It has now sold off a little bit, as we can see on the graph here. We do have a gravestone doji at the bottom here, and as a result it's testing its breakout level. Our strategy is to go long Barloworld at 73 Rand. We have a stop loss in place of 70 Rand 90 and a target price of 77 Rand to the upside. Exxaro, recently the coal miner announced that its earnings were expected to be significantly lower than the previous year. They did come out with a trading statement stating that they expected earnings to be at least 20% lower. This was not really a surprise to us. Reason stated was that their corresponding earnings from their portion of the Sishen iron ore mine will be lower. Don't forget that Kumba Iron Ore is the owner of the owner of the other part of the mine. So as a result, it's not a total surprise to us that Exxaro did come up with such a trading statement. If we look at the technicals now, we have a strategy to go long at about 148 Rand. We have a stop loss in place of 144 Rand with a target price of 165. As an alternative strategy, one could take a bit more of a risky trade and go long at about 152 Rand. In this case, look to move your stop loss a little bit higher to about 148 Rand or so. Harmony Gold. The Harmony has been consolidating for a number of months. Breakout on the upside will signal a good long. We see here on the graph that it is forming a bit of a triangle. So as a strategy on this one, we like to go long at about 68 Rand. We have a stop loss in place of about 64 Rand 90. Our target price on this one is about 74 Rand 50. Relatively low risk trade. The gold price is still well above the 1700. The Rand has also weakened significantly, pushing the Rand gold price higher. So we believe that this trade is relatively low. As an alternative strategy, look to buy on the break above 73 Rand for a target of about 85 Rand medium to longer term. Right, the next graph I'd like to look at is Hulamin. This is a share that is offering good value if you believe that the rand will weaken further. It is a nice little rand hedge. Investors can begin to nibble at this one for the longer term. Our target on Hulamin, or rather our strategy on Hulamin, is to go long at R3.50 with a stop loss of R2.90. We don't really have a target price on this one. A weaker rand could actually push it up significantly, so we don't have a real target price on this one, but one could look to nibble probably a share for your medium to longer term investor on this one. You could be picking up value at these levels, so we could buy, and it is relatively high risk, this trade. Keep a close eye on this one. However, if the rand does weaken significantly further, this is definitely one that does offer value for the longer term. And then the last share this evening I'd like to look at is Lewis. Right, so we can push it up on the graph here. Lewis, this share is basically trading back near its triple bottom, as we can see on the graph here. It also has formed a doji, which is circled in the blue. It is on a reasonable price earnings ratio, and it is paying a dividend in January of around about 3%. From a technical point of view, we'll go long this one at 69 Rand with a stop loss of about 67. Our target price on this one is 74.90 Rand. This is Vasilis Girasis for ntmarkets.com.